in a woman-led space, I reckon the tone shifts quite a bit, and it goes much more inclusive, if you like.
I'm really excited to be chatting today to Mary Knights. Mary is a community leader in our motorcycling world, and she runs an amazing Facebook group called Women to Wheels Motorcycling Community. So, hi, Mary.
Hi there, Bridget. Good to talk to you.
Now, Women to Wheels is a brilliant group. It started way back in 2013. So, by my calculations, that's coming up to 13 years, and it's growing from strength to strength. So, I'm just wondering, why do you think community is so important to women who ride?
Well, that's a really good question, actually, Bridget, because it's one that everyone should reflect upon in their lives about community. It's the big thing now. But in motorcycling, I reckon the first thing it does is that it breaks isolation. So I think riding can feel isolating for women because they think they're the only one out there when they first start out. And of course, it's still very much a male-dominated space. So the community feel removes that only one feeling and replaces it with a sense of belonging. So you go from being the outsider to being part of a tribe. So that I think is the key thing. Once someone joins the group, they discover this and go, this is fantastic. Wow, I can ask all these questions, do say all these things. There's other women like me. It's fantastic. So I think that's the first real reason why it takes off so well. Then it also allows for a safe space for learning and growth. So one of the things that I hear from women in the group is that they often feel judged or dismissed in mixed riding groups. Their skill level is always criticized, or they feel that they're imposing because they're slower and they better go to the back of the group, and then they don't feel supported. So in a woman-led space, I reckon the tone shifts quite a bit, and it goes much more inclusive, if you like, and they can ask questions that are never dumb. So we always say no questions is a dumb question, and you're not going to get a response that says, you know that, you should know that, because no, you don't know everything when you first start out. And then skills are shared maybe without ego. So women tend to be a lot more open and helpful, and will share their failures as well as their triumphs in a community space because it's safe. They can not feel criticized. And of course, when we go on group rides, safety is prioritized over the bravado behavior. Responsible riding is very much the thing. And I find that women are far more calmer, far more relaxed when they ride as a group, far more thoughtful about making sure everyone is safe. So it's a completely different dynamic than riding in a mixed group. And it's not saying riding in a mixed group is bad. It's just this is what the dynamic is, and that's what they enjoy. They discover something completely new. And the last thing I reckon that really seems to be coming to the fore now is mentorship seems to happen naturally. There's women now I'm seeing become natural leaders and coming in and taking over on rides and being involved in a different way. So I reckon these are some of the things that really are what make this community grow, that inclusivity, which is just so different to another group.
I love that. It really is a different vibe, isn't it, to a mixed group? It's sort of like it has its own energy in a way.
Yes, it definitely does. I think what really works here is that there's a lot of emotional support, not just the physical or the practical things, but that place to share things like someone who's nervous before a test, I'm really worried. They can put it up there and go, I'm really scared about doing the test. I'm really worried about doing those U-turns. And they'll get a response from another woman saying, oh my God, yes, I know, I was the same. You won't get that in a mixed group because nobody wants to admit that they're nervous or they might fail. But in this sort of community, it's okay if you feel like you didn't get that test the first time. People go back and go, you'll be right. Do it the next time. You'll be right. You just practice this and again and again. And then they put a post that is a win saying, I did it. I got my license. and everybody goes, "Yay, you got your license, great, going to come out on the ride." So it's completely different. That whole comfortable sounding board thing is allowed in the group. So I think that's a really, really good thing that we've encouraged, that they know whatever they say is safe in that group.
I love that. So, Mary, tell me a bit about your story. Like, how did you fall in love with motorcycles?
Well, that's a good one. Well, let's see. I got my license probably 30 years or more ago now. And I just remember when I got my first bike, I decided to get my license. And I thought, I've always wanted to ride a bike, but I was a little bit scared of them. But as soon as I sat on this bike, my heart went, oh, and I thought, this is what I want. And I fell in love instantly with motorcycling, instant. So it was in the blood straight away. And I think I found it was exciting, obviously, but it was more importantly liberating for me.
Oh, I love that word.
Liberating. It gave me an inner sense of power and self-discovery, because a whole new me came about from the me before, because motorcycling completely changed that, what you did and how you felt. So for me also, it grew to become not just that, oh, wow, I feel fabulous on a bike, but I actually really loved the challenge of every corner and every gear change. Every sort of act was like a courage that belonged only to me. So everything was fantastic in that space. And I reckon as time went on, I then became mechanically curious and wanted to know how my bike worked. And I started tinkering and thought, oh, yeah, I can do this. And then got better at tinkering, so that at the end I could service my own bike reasonably well and diagnose things. That was the sort of, again, an empowerment thing that made me feel really good. I knew more about bikes than just sitting on the thing and starting the button and looking at it and going, oh, it goes forwards and goes left and right. And then, of course, as you grow in these things, motorcycle sports, and then I became I want to be Mick Doohan person, all excited about the skills that they had, which I never got there, but it was that wish. And so I was completely hooked into the love of motorcycling, the whole fraternity thing. It just was everything. And I think then finally what unfolded was, I think I must have seen Charlie Boorman, maybe in The Long Way Round. I must have seen something like this. And I watched him going off-road, and I'm going, look at that. You can go all these places on a motorbike that you can't anywhere else. And so suddenly the lust for off-road riding came about, and I got myself a little dirt bike and discovered what I could and couldn't do on a dirt bike. But I loved it. I took to it like a duck to water. It was the place. And so then became my off-road love for adventure riding, and then got myself a bigger bike, the BMW, and just loved the experience of going up on trails, and then turning the bike off, taking the helmet off, listening to the beautiful sounds of the gum trees, birds, the leaves rustling across the ground, the cows mooing in the distance, whatever it was. But it's that whole solitude and oneness with the nature thing, I think, that really grasped me on the off-road riding. And then I thought, I better go and learn some techniques. So I went off and did some off-road course training to learn how to ride certain kinds of surfaces. And that's been the best. And I think from that point on, I knew that I was definitely blood-led, if you like, as a biker. And that's where my love was. Yeah, right from the word go.
So that leads beautifully into my next question, because I believe that adventures are not just about fun, and I'm talking any type of adventures, not just dirt roads and sort of gnarly gravel, but any kind of adventures. I think it goes deeper than just fun. So I'm wondering, is there something that you've learnt about yourself or about life as a result of all the adventures that you've had?
Absolutely. I think I've learned that I'm capable. That would have to be the thing that's come out of all these years of riding. So when I say capable, I mean not just a capable rider, not that kind of thing. It's more about, I can achieve things because I discovered this whole new me with motorcycling. So, there might have been things from like getting stuck in the mud alone and having to get my dirt bike out of this gooey track. Then I stood there, went, how am I going to do this? Because I was by myself that day. Or getting stuck up a narrow mountainous track and having to turn the BMW around, which was a real challenge. But it was that kind of thing that yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it was those kind of challenges that made me realize I'm more than capable than I ever knew. And then, of course, solutions roadside where I've had breakdowns, that kind of thing made you realize you've got the noggin and the capability, and it grew me as a person, as a leader in the group, and because I discovered there was much I could give back, if you like, to the community and impart from my experiences. So I've learned that I am quite capable in all aspects of life. Give me a chance and I'll give it a go. That's probably what I've gotten out of it.
Yeah, that's amazing because I mean it sounds like your confidence in yourself just grew and grew, and not just around motorcycles, but generally.
Yeah, I think I like to think that motorcycling just gives you another aspect of your persona. And for some people, it's an escape, which is fantastic, where it's a therapy, as we've heard, and they can get out there and just forget about all the things. If you think about it, our lives are so busy. Women carry many invisible loads like responsibilities, emotional labors, expectations. But when you get on the bike, that just all falls away. And it's just you and the machine and the road. And it's the feeling, and it can be addictive because you just want to get out there and you sort of go, that's so nice. I'm seeing the trees and I'm just loving the ride. And you just become calm and have equanimity. It's just fantastic. And I think that's where motorcycling, for men or women, actually is important as a therapy for enjoying and getting out and getting on the road.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, isn't it? I went for a ride the other day and oh my gosh, that feeling of just being at one with your bike, it's just you inside your helmet with the wind in your face and that feeling of, well, freedom. I know it's a cliche, but oh boy, it's true. It's just the best feeling.
Yep, totally agree.
I would like to ask you to share maybe one tip that you think might be helpful for someone who's listening, um, in terms of adventuring or motorcycles in general, or even mindset and how you think. Have you got a tip that you would like to share with everyone?
That's a really good question. There's a million tips I can think of, but I would say quite esoterically maybe to plan your route, but leave room for the magic. So often the best moments happen when you take a detour, for example, and you stop to breathe in the scenery, or you follow a road simply because it looks interesting. So, yes, I could say all the practical stuff like pack efficiently, pack light, take certain tools, wear the right gear, drink water, and so forth. But I think adventuring is about the journey. And you're embarking on your bike on a trip, and it could be just a ride to the beach, or you're touring across Australia. And so that's my tip. Plan your route, but leave room for the magic, because all the other things will come out of that at the end of the day. You'll discover and learn all the things you need to learn about motorcycling, and about whether you can do all the practical things like pick the right bike, get the right gear. But I think that is the one that I always try to remind myself when we go away on bikes. Enjoy and allow space for your day of seeing all these wonderful things that you may miss if you're just rushing from A to B and only focused on that. See what's in between. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Mary. It's been a joy chatting with you. And also, thank you for everything that you're contributing to our community. It's amazing. And we appreciate it very much. And speaking of that, if someone wants to join Women Two Wheels on Facebook, how can they do that?
We're easily found if they just get into Facebook and type in women number two wheels, all one word. It should come up with the private group page. There's also a public page that can be followed by anyone, male or female, doesn't matter, or even other pages such as professional dealerships. And on that, we tend to put highlights of things we've achieved. So it sort of gives you a bit of an insight to some of the things we're doing, such as charity fundraising or big events that are supporting women. But definitely the simplest way is that. And we do have a QR code, and I can share that with you if you want to use that, and they can just scan it and it takes you straight to the page. It's one of the easiest ways to find us.
Fabulous. Thank you. I'll do that and I'll pop a link to in the show notes and hopefully that will make it very easy. Brilliant. Thanks, Mary.
No problems. Safe riding.